Like to join us? Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Montero.
Here.
Commissioner Teeble.
Here.
Chair York.
Here. I don't think we have anybody joining us, but
We need to changes in staff. Say, there's
I'm sorry.
who the staff is here. Who the staff
Oh,
is.
okay. Would the staff introduce themselves, please?
Yes, Sam here, Human Resources Manager.
Jason, we're looking at you.
I'm going to start and I'm out.
Okay, you're going to introduce yourself first.
Jason Jones, Mobility Manager.
Thank you.
Sarah Schilling, Executive Assistant.
Thank you. Are there any changes to the agenda?
I would like to add, as one of the items, is a timeline of the next steps.
Okay, good.
So that would probably be
So we're going to put that with the discuss next
through item
meeting.
7. Yeah, in item 7.
Yeah. So make that part of
Time.
7D. So,
I think that's
I
important.
think
Okay.
that's good.
anything else? Changes to the agenda? As I said, I didn't think that Marcel would be joining us. I received communication from her asking if there was anything else to do. And I went back to the agenda and realized we were supposed to do the communication as well.
Right.
And so I asked her, this was just a day or so ago, I mentioned that. And so she said, I didn't think that we needed her here for that discussion if we had a couple of suggestions, something like that, because I think that's what we had discussed. So she got this to me this morning, and I had trouble sending it. I was going to try and send it to you. I also tried to send it to Sarah, and she didn't get it. She also said, when we communicated, that she had sent out the questions that she had drafted, and there were no suggestions from any of us. And because of that,
We're good to go.
we're good to go on those. We need to have a discussion
I
about it.
thought she hit the nails on the head.
Mhm.
But that was the main reason she wasn't going to come, and then I realized that we had that other issue, and so she got that to me. And let's look at the questions first and just have a brief discussion, and then I know you.
Questions. Okay.
You're going to still need another minute to review the survey communication. Okay.
Have we moved on to?
Excuse me?
Have we moved on to 7?
Oh.
I'm sorry. Is there anyone from the public here to speak?
I see none.
No.
No.
Okay. And the minutes, are there any
I would move to
questions,
accept the minutes as written.
I'll second that.
Okay. No discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Nobody left. Passes unanimously.
Okay.
It's always good
Now
to check the
there we
agenda.
are.
Thank
Yes.
you. I feel like everybody in the meeting is responsible for helping to make sure that it's moving on. So now we're in item 7A. And again, the process was that we had a discussion at the last meeting with our consultant about what was important to us. We had reviewed the items in the employment agreement about things we were going to be evaluating the executive director on. We had some additional ideas. I don't know that we removed anything, but we had some additional things. And she said she had enough to take back and form questions, send it out to us. We all responded, apparently saying, looks good to me. So anything else? Any other comments about them?
I like the fact that every sentence every question starts exactly the same. How satisfied are you? I really like that. It's consistent. It makes it personal. Yeah. I think this is it's a
I never
good,
caught that, but that's really, you're right.
We did say that, or I think we were directed by the board, remind me if I'm wrong, that we could approve it. So I think that we need to
Yes.
take action
Yes.
to approve the questions.
I would move that we accept the questions as presented to us.
I'll second that.
Okay. Further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Nobody left? Passes unanimously. Okay, check. Now, one of the other things that we had asked for, Marcel suggested that we have written communication to go out with the questions. A communication go out first saying this
Yes.
is going to be coming.
Right.
And directing any questions, having people direct any questions to her.
Right.
So that is what she has drafted for us, that first communication. She also, in her email, gives some suggestions for what we might want to include when it goes out, some technical pieces, if I recall. If I can find that. So partway.
Yeah.
So specific technical details can be provided in the later email that contains the survey link. You can pause the survey and return to it, contact information. An employee can complete the survey during work hours.
And it's a required job assignment. I like that.
Let me look at Sam for that. Does that make sense to you? Is that
does.
something we can do?
Yes,
You thought- okay.
absolutely.
Okay, great, thanks. The time frame, so that's something we have to, the time frame for the evaluation period, which is, I would think, from when we started. Do you?
We wanted to be done by,
No, this
No,
was the start
is,
date.
What is the period that you are evaluating?
Oh,
From his
oh, oh.
start date
Oh, yes,
through,
okay.
Now, she says now, when they complete, when
That's
they're
what they'll
completing the
say
survey.
it in the cover letter.
Right.
Till now.
I think you should spell out now with a date, and I think making it,
Okay,
Present, to the
because
present.
that date will be different based, if you use now, it'll be different based on whether I fill it out the first day I got it, or
That's
the
true.
last day when it's due.
so maybe it should be the
But-
send date.
The
date
send
that we
date,
send it
yes.
out to employees.
Okay. I mean, hopefully their opinions aren't gonna change that much in those
No.
2 days, but, okay, you're right.
But to be clear.
That's fine.
I would want
That's
to be
fine.
clear, so to the send date. And could I just go back to the previous bullet? If they are an employee, the survey is to be completed during work hours. Sam, I'd like to know that whether every employee has access to a private area and a computer where they can do this during their work time.
Yes, I can tell you that. We have recently assigned them to their private, unique email addresses, and we have a dedicated space at the Warrenton location and here actually where they can complete those surveys. So yes.
Okay, so my second question is, that means that they will be completing it on the ride the bus platform, I'm going to call it. And I'm aware that there are some employees who do not trust that platform to protect their anonymity.
Correct.
So could we, do you feel that it is anonymous and safe?
So for the survey, it depends on how it's going to be sent.
What emails did you give her? Did you provide her with emails? No, you provided them to me and.
Yes.
Yes.
They're
And how
gonna,
they
they're gonna
respond to the
receive
email, right?
the
Correct.
survey at their Ride the Bus email, which means if I'm on the my Ride the Bus email, and I click on the link to SurveyMonkey knows it came from so-and-so at Ride the Bus. And I really want to make sure anonymity is protected.
Yes, Commissioner Montero, I can tell you about that. It depends on how do we send it. If I'm going to send it,
No,
for
you're
example,
not.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
If I'm going to send you, for example, a survey for all of you, and I request your email in the response, then yes, SurveyMonkey will start collecting that data. If I don't request that, it will come anonymous to me. And I've done that with our surveys before. I didn't use SurveyMonkey, I used a different form, but it depends on how it's going to be sent.
And so it's an option.
It is an option.
Okay,
Yes.
so we have to be clear that she uses that option.
No, we know the SurveyMonkey tool does not ask for your email address in your response. So we know that already. But SurveyMonkey still knows where the response came from. And that's what,
No matter where they log in from, they're going to know where it comes from then, right? Is that the case? If I went
Possibly.
home and answered it from my
Right.
home computer, they'd still know where it came from.
I guess what I would prefer, and maybe Marcel needs to be consulted on this, is that while it's still a required job assignment, staff be given the option as to where they respond from. If they want to forward the link to their home or to whatever,
They have
that
that.
they have that opportunity. I would like to give them that to doubly ensure their trust in the anonymity.
That's possible, right?
I believe yes.
Well,
Yeah, SurveyMonkey.
Marcel will know that.
So
Yeah.
I'll check with Marcel and ask her for some language that assures that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just saying that specific thing, but.
Right.
you
But
have
also
the
just
option.
not requiring that you have to do it while you're at work.
From a work
Because
computer.
the other thing is, there's shared workspaces, and if I'm at a shared workspace or I'm next to somebody else, and I don't want them seeing my answers, how comfortable do I feel about that?
And could we say, if you have questions about access to a computer, you can check with Sam?
I can help with that.
No, I don't think so.
Why?
Because I'm an employee, and if I have a question about access to a computer and I talk to Sam, I have just told Sam that I'm responding. It's the anonymity.
You're telling
is
him that
really-
you're responding, but number one,
Yeah.
This should be a way to help develop trust in Sam also, because he needs to keep all their personnel information appropriately confidential. And it seems to me that it would be helpful for them if they would prefer to do it on a work computer, to have somebody to talk to if they're not quite sure how to do that. So it could be, we could say their supervisor. But my sense is I'd rather have the HR manager as one central person who can assist with that.
Don't have to, but can, but may.
Yeah, but may.
Yeah, all right. But also telling them that they can respond from any computer they want to respond
Go
from.
to the library.
They can go to the library, they can do whatever they want.
But if it's your preference to use a work computer, this is one way to get access to that if you need assistance.
Right.
And there's just one way. So
Because they are going to be getting the communication on their work email.
So then it's not to be completed during work hours. We can't specify that it's got to be done during work hours.
You can complete it anytime you want.
Right.
But it is a
Oh,
yeah, so
required.
It is
take
to be
those
completed.
during
It
work.
may be completed during work
Yes.
hours.
Maybe.
Yes, I like that,
maybe.
because then they know they have.
Mhm.
Maybe.
Because what we're trying to do is be consistent and yet give them options
Yes,
too.
maybe. That's good. That
Mhm.
covers it.
Mhm.
Okay. So on the time frame of the evaluation period, do we know his start date?
Yeah, July 1st,
Is it July
2025.
1st? Okay.
Mhm. To whatever day she sends it out. That's the
Oh,
that's
so
the-
how long? And that's a timeline issue.
Right.
We need to think about that.
Yes.
And I
When does it
think
go out? When is the
somewhere
deadline to
on
submit
here,
it?
it says the survey will remain open for 2 weeks. So that would be the time period, whatever the send date is, plus 2 weeks. And I would want to make sure that the 2 weeks, you probably don't want to end on
Well, we're
a
not,
weekend date.
I want to hold that until we get
Okay,
to do the
got it.
timeline.
All right.
So let's concentrate on the narrative of what we're
Okay.
doing right now. So that was information for us to add to the second. She didn't do a draft particular, that's still
Right.
in. So the other page starts, hello, the Sunset Empire Transportation District Board of Commissions.
Yeah.
General comments first, and then if there are specifics, and in some places she gave us a couple of
Options.
suggestions, options,
Mhm.
yeah.
General observation, really long.
It is long. This would be coming out by itself.
Right.
I would rather it be long and include as much as possible than be short and leave too many areas that might be open for question.
And the
And I
fact that
agree
it's
it's long.
And the fact that it's not attached to the survey makes it easier, because you can just,
Mhm.
this is one thing.
Yeah.
So,
This
Yes.
is coming to you like maybe a week ahead of time. This
Yeah.
is letting you know this is on its way to you.
Yeah.
So you can start thinking and
Yeah.
whatever. But it also, I think there's enough important points on there that I don't know what I'd get rid of.
yeah.
As I went through it, I didn't see anything that didn't seem necessary. We might be able to wordsmith it to be, to take a little bit out, but unless someone has some suggestions of
I don't.
this paragraph or two isn't
Mhm.
necessary, I'd rather not wordsmith it.
And I'm okay, because it's a standalone email, so.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
So you want to take it paragraph by paragraph, or do you want to just look at the spots where she gave us options?
Let's go just and look at the places she has
Okay.
options, but stop me if there's something before that you have a concern with. So in the third paragraph, starting in, and we're going to get that from the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, that's simply a date to be inserted.
Yeah, right,
So
right.
I don't have a problem with, I don't think we need to decide that.
And then in the fourth paragraph, with
All those reasons.
And I actually think that instead of making a choice, you incorporate with new leadership and recent changes in both board and executive director, I would say positions.
We could also delete that whole introduction sentence and just start, we see this as an important moment.
I think that provides the reason that we see it as an.
But aren't we going to be doing this annually?
You don't know how it's going to be done annually. I'm not sure.
Okay.
We'll do another 360 next year. We may want to, whatever.
Okay.
But right now, I think
It's because of those
yes,
reasons.
and it's the recognition that we have new leadership,
Okay.
that we've got lots of new stuff on the board.
Okay.
So it's kind of
The reasons.
with new people on the board help us too.
Okay.
And I think it's also part of the foundation for why we're using a consultant this time, but not necessarily
Okay.
that that would
Yeah.
continue.
Okay.
The process might well be different in some
Yeah.
ways next time.
Okay.
Uh,
So both of them.
And so maybe you make it shorter by saying, with the recent changes in both board and executive director leadership positions, we see this as.
Yeah.
So,
With recent changes, with the recent changes, in
both
both board and executive director leadership, comma.
leadership positions.
Leadership.
You don't need the word positions, you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't think so. An important moment to pause, listen, and build a stronger foundation for the future. I
Okay.
like that.
Good.
Yeah. So with the recent changes in both board and executive director leadership, we see this as an important moment to pause. Blah, blah,
Good.
blah. Yeah, I like that.
And so far, Sam, do you have any comments?
No, I mean, the only comment I have is maybe if it's possible to make it a little bit shorter overall, that's it.
Well, when we finish going through the letter,
Yeah.
we'll be more familiar with it, and let's pause. And
Okay.
see, is there a way we might have
Okay.
made that a little shorter? So there isn't,
I like the next two paragraphs, the talk about building trust, and your perspective is incredibly valuable. I think those are important points to make.
you will receive an email. We're not, I was going to say this might be a time to talk about that process, but I think that's a detail that comes with the link to the survey.
I'm not sure, the survey will remain open for 2 weeks and to take approximately, I think that information can actually be attached to the survey itself as opposed to put in this letter. Because by the time you get to the survey, you may have forgotten that this was in this. Yeah, I could see that last paragraph moving to the information that is attached with the survey.
I agree.
We're talking about the survey will remain open?
Yeah, that very last paragraph. Yeah, the whole thing even.
Because, for example, a detail about there's an option to rate
Yeah.
not applicable,
Mhm.
they're not necessarily going to remember that. And
Good.
And it isn't a need to know piece.
Good.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So,
Okay, so that gets rid of one paragraph.
encourage everyone to participate.
Didn't we say it was mandatory someplace?
Well, remember, this is also going to people who aren't
Oh, that's
employees.
right. Okay.
It said it.
Good point. Questions about the process? I think because of that, we do need to keep this, but I will tell Marcel that some questions like specifically, how do I access a computer at work, that she needs to
Yeah,
refer to.
and that information is actually going out with the survey
Right,
document, so you don't have to say it here.
right.
Yeah.
I agree with that, yeah. Well,
Again, by the time you get the survey document, you may have forgotten that that kind of instruction was on this document. So,
let me ask the question. Will anyone, board members, community members, staff, have questions that they need answered before they get the survey?
they might.
In that
So that
case,
means
we
you
need
wanna
to-
have that
And
paragraph.
again, this also reinforces that this is an outside independent contractor dealing with the whole process.
in which case we need to leave this.
Yeah, I would leave it.
Okay.
I see the purpose of this is to invite you and sell you. The purpose of the one with the survey is to instruct you.
Mhm. That makes sense.
And I think that those are,
Okay, give you your time. So she has several
she has 3
sentences in
different
there,
sentences that you could choose from.
and we sure don't need them all.
No, and that's what she's doing, is she's giving us, thank you for your time and thoughtful input. I would put that at the end of the note with the survey. Thank you for the time, your honesty, and your continuing engagement.
Your
I don't like that
honesty
one.
seems
I
kind
don't
of
like that.
odd.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I don't like that. We appreciate your willingness to contribute to this important effort, and thank you for your continued involvement with the district. I like that last
That one,
sentence.
I like that one.
I like that for folks outside. Seems a little odd to me to staff. Thanks for your involvement with the district. You know, we're
Well,
not firing you.
But involvement comes in different ways. It comes being a
Right.
volunteer, a board member,
An employee.
an employee.
Mhm.
Yeah. Your continued involvement.
Yeah, thank you for helping us.
In an employee's mind,
Mhm.
that equates to continued employment.
How about, we appreciate your willingness to contribute to this important effort and thank you for your participation.
Okay,
Yeah, I can do that.
yeah.
We appreciate your willingness to contribute to this important effort and thank you for
Your
participation. Yes.
Does that
Thank
feel
you.
comfortable to both
Yeah.
people inside the
Yeah.
organization and
I
outside?
agree. Yeah.
Sam?
Yep, absolutely.
So the last paragraph is, it starts with "we."
Yes, you get rid of
So we
those
get rid
first
of
two
those thank
sentences.
yous and stuff like that.
Okay. I
Good reminder.
think that this will end up, yeah, obviously it's going to be by email, but if you were putting this on letterhead, it would be the front side of a piece of paper.
So now nitpicking. I would like to, I don't like the sentences, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paragraph, your perspective is incredibly valuable. I don't like the sentence, whether your experience has been positive, challenge, or somewhere in between. I think I would like to take that whole clause out. Your input, I like that your input will help guide the board, but whether your experiences have been positive, challenging, or in between, I don't know why we need to say that. That's the purpose of a rating. You guys like it?
I agree with you, but I'm trying to figure out what's left and whether that makes sense.
It just says your perspective is incredibly valuable. Your input will help guide the board in supporting this.
What I'd like is, if you're going to get rid of that, your perspective is incredibly valuable. Your input will help guide the board in strengthening the district moving forward.
You don't want to support the executive
No.
director?
Because-
In strengthening the what?
Because employees see that phrase differently. So,
Okay, because,
your perspective is incredibly valuable.
and do we need the word incredibly?
No.
Yeah, good. Let's get rid of it incredibly.
Very.
Very, I'll
be
put
okay.
very, I
Very is
want
fine,
very,
but
it's very
incredibly
valuable.
is not.
And then get rid of whether your experiences, start the next sentence with your input will help guide the board in strengthening the district moving
In
forward.
strengthening the district. Okay,
Moving forward.
okay.
I am uncomfortable about something about that.
Okay.
I'm trying to sort of figure that
Mhm.
out. I think it puts a lot of weight on the board, and I think that that would necessarily develop confidence in some staff members.
It would,
Tell me that one again.
it would create confidence or diminish confidence?
I think it could diminish
Okay.
confidence in the process.
See, and I don't think so.
You could use the district then. You could substitute the word district.
No,
Help.
because the board is sending this out, and it is in fact the board's responsibility to do all this. And this
Yeah.
is basically, you are helping the board.
I think it could be your input will help the district move forward.
Ooh, that one feels like the district hasn't made any accomplishments. And that one is too short for me.
Your input will help.
I like guide the board. I really do like guide the board.
it's a coin toss to me.
We could
Yeah,
nitpick every single word. in
I
this.
know, that's the problem.
And we have to remember that also, Marcel is a lawyer,
Uh-huh,
and she's a human resources specialist. Yes, she doesn't know the particulars of our company, but
guide and
I
strengthen
like,
the board.
this is where
I mean,
I'm
guide and strengthen the
asking for your
district.
input to help guide me.
And she included the executive
I know.
director in that sentence.
But she included it in a way, help guide the board in supporting the executive director.
Ugh.
People don't understand what supporting the executive director means. Many people think it means patting the executive director on the head.
I don't
Okay.
disagree with that point, but I think that,
Guide and strengthen the district?
let's see, first of all, let me back up just a bit.
Okay.
So we're taking out the whether your experience has been good or
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah,
Okay,
I agree.
okay, let me make sure that's there.
Guide and strengthen, your
So,
input will help guide and
I
strengthen
think
the
that
district.
the message is that it will be helpful. Their input will be helpful in
Yes.
strengthening the district and moving forward.
Yes.
I don't like having the board and not the executive director. I'm not thrilled with the way this is phrased as it is, but I'm
Oh.
not.
If you're gonna
Well,
cut out
maybe,
executive.
maybe what you want is your input will help guide the board and the executive director
That
in
sounds great.
in strengthening the district moving forward.
I think that's great. Okay, the board and.
Okay, and the
Yeah,
executive.
And strengthening this, I think that sounds
Because now I
great.
understand why,
Okay.
what you were aiming for there.
And the executive director.
In
In strengthening?
strengthening the district moving forward.
In strengthening the district
Yes.
moving forward. Okay, good. Okay.
Okay,
You have some more nitpick?
I do.
Okay.
Conducting a 360-degree evaluation is one step in that process. Don't see the need of that sentence.
What?
That's a paragraph right above. We understand that this trust is built over time. I think the sentence that says conducting this 360-degree evaluation is one step in that process is
and how many people know
superfluous.
what a 360 is?
Well, and
I
at the
don't
top,
think there's need.
at the third paragraph, they mentioned we will initiate a
Oh, okay.
360-degree blah, blah, blah.
For this occasion. All employees, and it says the groups that we're getting input from. Conducting this evaluation is one step in that process. What's your concern about that?
I
You
think
know,
that whole sentence is unnecessary.
I
It says
think
your
you can.
input will help us better understand. So I don't think that this is one step.
Yeah.
I don't see
I
one
could see
step.
getting rid of that
Just the
sentence.
sentence,
That
only
sentence.
the
Yes,
sentence.
I
Okay,
could see that.
I'm fine with that.
Again, because we're still selling them on
Yeah.
major input.
Yeah.
Okay, you got another one?
That's all. We got her done. We got her
Okay.
down.
Doing great.
Sam, you know the employees a whole lot better than the rest of us do. Is there anything that you think is missing that would be helpful to employees?
I would say the fact that you already discussed the simple wording to all of this is great. That is very helpful. I think just avoiding any big terms, like the 360, for example, that was a very good point because not everyone understands that. So just that perspective, I
Good.
guess.
Okay, great. Anything else?
So maybe, based on what you just said, the third paragraph, starting in blah, 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 we will initiate a 360-degree evaluation. Maybe,
An evaluation.
An evaluation.
Okay, get rid of 360-degree off of there too. Good.
We will be conducting an evaluation process for the executive director.
A comprehensive evaluation process? That's
I
the
don't think
purpose of the 360.
Yeah, but why?
I
It's
don't-
just an extra word.
Okay. I like my 360s.
I know you do.
Yeah, okay.
That's the,
Sometimes you have
that's the
to give in.
community college in you.
We will be conducting.
We will be conducting
An
an evaluation
evaluation
process. Yeah,
So you
that-
like conducting and not initiating?
yeah, conducting, because it is conducting.
Well, yeah, but conducting is a lot more than just this. It goes on beyond that.
Right,
So-
and that's fine,
Okay,
because
This
Yeah.
is the start of the process.
this is the start.
which is the
So-
initiating.
Yeah, so that's, I would get,
Okay,
I
conducting.
would not say we would be initiating,
Okay,
we're
we're gonna
conducting.
conducting.
Okay. Anything else about that?
I like it.
I'm very content with that
Okay,
now.
Great.
Good.
Stan?
Great.
I'll get back with
Do we need to make a motion or no?
I would say it can't hurt here.
Okay, I move that we
Except,
accept the first letter as amended by our group.
I would second that.
more discussion.
Aye.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. I see nobody who could possibly be opposed, so it sounds unanimous to me.
Okay,
good.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
So we're on item C.
And again, apologies for not getting that out so that you could actually read it in advance.
Oh, no, I think this worked really well.
No, that's great.
Now to the last page in the packet, the community peer list. So I talked to David and expressed what we had talked about, what we were looking for. We wanted variety. We wanted community leaders, peers, some maybe technical, some technical in the field, some not, that he's working with directly. I said that we might not do all of them. We might add a person or two. That's the information that he and I have shared. So any comments, questions?
I got lots of comments.
Okay.
First of all, my overarching comment is this is way too Astoria-centric.
Okay.
There's not, so I would like to see something from other places in the county, but I'm not exactly sure where.
Okay.
I can tell you, I've got no's and yeses and reasons for them on different places. So let me tell you the people that I think are right for this. Brian Vituli, absolutely. He's a peer. He knows technical and
Okay.
I think Don Boone is a yes,
Okay.
because that's the county.
What's ATU?
Well, don't go there yet.
Okay.
I'm just telling you my yeses.
Okay.
I would say Jared is most likely a yes, although I have, we're conducting business with him, but he has an overarching kind of view, so. And for Scott Spence, the Astoria city manager, that's where I went, wait a minute, why another person in Astoria? And so I would like to see another city manager. He probably has more interaction personally with Scott because it is in Astoria. But on the other hand, I know the other city managers are probably also watching what's going on. So,
And I want to be sure that as much as possible we're focused on their role in the community, not the individual.
yeah.
And their
And I think they're-
knowledge of David. I mean, we're asking for people who know David,
Right.
who have an opinion of.
But we're not evaluating the people.
No.
We're
no.
evaluating the content,
Right.
the contact,
Right.
and that they're in a position that we would expect there would likely be contact. And
Right.
Right. So let me go to the other people on the list.
Okay.
I don't think Arla should be on the list. Arla is the person that is supposed to make sure that David is doing the right thing for ODOT. And she may not feel that she can say that he's not doing the right thing, because that reflects on whether or not she's managing this contract correctly.
So-
I would say someone higher than Arla in ODOT, someone who deals with the grants themselves. And the, because Arla's the, I'm gonna kind of the regional administrator, but administrator is
Coordinator.
coordinator, thank you.
So I want to talk about process for just a second. Are we going to go through this and talk about, and you're going to talk about your preferences here, and then Kathleen's going to, and I'm going to?
However you want to do it.
I don't know any of them. I don't care about any of them. I want David, he knows that he's familiar with these people and they're familiar with him. So that's, you know, and there's 10 of them here. So if we can narrow it down.
So I agree on the Astoria issue, and it hadn't popped out in my mind when I first went through it. I think that's really true. And what I'd like to do is go back to him and say, you know, too many Astoria, and go over that.
Well, I think at this point we got his input and we get to choose people.
We can do that.
Yeah.
I'm saying what my preference is.
Okay.
I want to hear from Arla. He works with her directly, and I wouldn't mind having an additional person, but one of the last times I was here, he was finishing a meeting with her and she was leaving, and I thought, I wonder, you know, she's going to know a side of his work that I would like to know more about.
Okay. Well, then I would like to get somebody higher in ODOT as well. I'd like to get somebody who's a contract administrator, because she's not a contract administrator.
Okay.
Or either contract administrator or grant administrator.
Okay. Is, curiosity, is John Lansing, is he the person?
John is the district representative.
Is he the one who was here
Yeah.
at the budget meeting? Okay, okay, good.
No, what's ATU? Can I ask that now?
Yeah, ATU is the union.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't think the head of the union should be in our list of evaluations for, I mean, we negotiate with this person. And I don't think it's probably appropriate to have the union.
Do we care how well he interacts with the union? I mean, because that's what we're asking. How well do you interact with him?
That's not what we're asking.
Isn't that what this evaluation asks? How well do you perform your job duty?
The different parts of it.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think that having the union president is appropriate in this.
So I'll say that I agree with both of you. I think what you're talking about, Kathleen, is exactly what we want to know. How are they doing in those things? The head of the union is a unique position.
Okay.
And so given that those comments will be all mixed together, we won't be pulling that out and saying he works well with this kind of group, not so well with this kind of group. It's different here. We're not going to be able to identify those things. So I could go either way, but I hear you saying I don't think it's appropriate, and that's an important word.
Good. I'm good enough for me.
Okay.
Okay. How about Jack Ficken?
We're a customer of the bank. This is another one I don't think should be there. We're their customer.
Yeah, really, we don't care how he reacts with the bank guy, do we?
I never thought about it.
It's not
as
that I
something.
don't care. Obviously, if there's things going on that make our customer relationship difficult, whatever, but we're their customer.
So I'm fine with, you're fine with crossing that one out?
I am fine with crossing it out. I was just looking for somebody that wasn't in government,
Right.
and he's private.
And I think that rather than George Dunkel was paid to recruit David. I think.
That's interesting too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would rather see Shanta.
How about the name of the guy who just?
Mark
Yeah,
Knudsen.
who did our.
I could see Mark.
Worked with us and has that sense of where the different groups are. I mean,
Right.
we had staff at the retreat, we had volunteers, we had the board. I think that
I could see
might be
Mark
good.
or Shanta. Yeah.
Because those guys are not really,
He's not really
they're
a
not
peer,
peers, but there are,
it's input.
their
Right.
relationships, working relationships.
And especially, I mean, because Mark saw interaction.
Yeah.
And worked with him in advance to set it up. I think he might have interesting information. I like that.
And
Not because of any of the individuals, but their experience with
right.
with the district.
And the reason I'm saying Shanta is Mark, if you look in the hierarchy of SDAO, Shanta manages the department that Mark is in. And so to get to Mark, you had to go through Shanta.
Right.
And Shanta's been dealing with this from the budget,
SDA.
all the stuff that we work with SDAO on. So I might do both of them.
Let's see how many we have.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
How many do we want? Did we say 6?
It doesn't,
I think we had talked about different numbers between 6 and 8 or 10. But it's ours, and it's just going out as a survey.
As an email,
Survey. It's
yeah.
not like somebody else.
Okay.
You know, we have to tally additional
Okay,
things.
okay.
I don't know why John Lansing's on the list. He's the rep for Javity.
Because David put him on there, right? David made this list.
Yeah, David made this list.
So he's just naming people that he knows well, probably.
And I
Which
would,
I think deserves some respect. That is what I took to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, I didn't say, tell us who we're going to survey.
yes.
I said,
yeah.
I need a list, we may not take them all, we may add.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not starting with our list and telling them who.
That's
we're
exactly
getting.
right. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So, but I don't, I'm thinking about other governmental positions, going to the representative of a higher elected official. I just don't see putting on anybody's 360.
I would be fine with that if they had been working on a project together,
Right.
if there was some, particular interaction like that. But I'm okay with removing that. I would like, we skipped over this, you mentioned, but I didn't say anything about it. I would like the president of the college.
Yeah.
We have
Mhm.
just been
I agree.
negotiating with him.
So John Lansing's out.
Yeah.
Okay. How about David Reed?
I don't know why we would have David on there. Again, that makes it very Astoria-centric.
And Warrenton.
No.
Well, I mean,
They
like the
don't
Crab
really-
Festival.
They don't really involve Warrenton. Yeah, I don't know why we would have the chamber executive on there.
Well, maybe he goes to a lot of meetings with them.
He doesn't. I don't think he does.
So from Astoria, Astoria alone. Can't count the class of county manager there. We could maybe include the college president since it's located here. The Astoria city manager. It seems to me we've taken off a couple people who are Astoria. So,
I'll tell you somebody that I would add, and because we have nobody on here that is strictly from the financial aspect, I would add Zach Fleck from Seaside.
I think that's good.
I don't know who Zach Fleck is.
He's the finance director for the city of Seaside.
And he's now
He's
on
on
our
our
budget committee.
finance. He's on our budget committee. And yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay,
And that
great.
gets solidly Seaside.
Never met
David
them.
Reed and Sarah,
Sarah Lou.
would you take one of them?
I guess I'd take David over Sarah Lou.
Okay. I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be
Because
rushed,
I
but
have
I'm
to
also
tell
trying to
you,
move it on.
from Sarah Lou's presentation to the Seaside City Council, I do not get the sense that she understands this district. Even though the,
So we're doing David from
yeah.
Astoria Ward. Okay, okay. So what I have is, reading my notes is always the challenge at this stage. Arla plus a higher level position, another ODOT.
Yeah, and just, I'd say to be specific, either ODOT contract or grant
right.
administrator.
Right, okay. Brian,
Yes.
Dawn, Jared,
Mm-hmm.
realize I don't know any of these people that I'm calling by first names. David, Shanta or Mark or both.
Mhm.
And Zach.
Scott.
And Scott.
Oh, you want Scott too? Okay, good.
And Zach.
Great. That's
That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4,
9 or
5,
10.
6, 7, 8, with a option of maybe 10.
yes. Right. That's plenty.
Yeah.
Well, I would be happy to do both of the ones that we said, or so that we go with the 10 as listed here.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
We did a couple of substitutions. I'm assuming that if there was anybody out there that somebody really wanted, that would have been brought up now.
Okay.
You mentioned Zach. I've been thinking about him because it's at the budget committee and very involved in that. I appreciated that. So
Good.
I'm good with this.
Okay.
Okay. I will follow up with Sarah to make sure that we have the names and contact information to get to Marcel. Okay.
Good.
Oh, and I will ask David about just what the options would be at ODOT for a contract grant administrator.
Good.
And he may not know. It might be that, well, he might have to reach out to Arla or actually, I'll tell you who might know the right person is Kathy.
Oh, okay. Kathy, our chair?
Yes.
Okay.
And
I'll check with her.
it has to be somebody who knows him, right? Who has worked with him, right?
And at this point, we know that several grants have been submitted.
Okay, good. So
Grant
somebody has
application.
worked with him.
They have to have.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
I'll check with Kathy first, and then if I need to follow up with
Yeah, I
David.
think she'd have good advice for you.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
I don't think this takes a vote because we're just talking about who. We didn't take a vote on all of the staff people.
Right.
We didn't take a vote on the board.
Right. No, I think
don't think we
you're
need
fine.
to do that.
Good.
So timeline, are we ready to move on to that?
I think so.
I don't know, how do you want to do this?
Well, we could go backwards or forward.
I was just gonna say the same
Uh-huh.
thing. Let's try backwards.
Okay, let's try backwards. So we were looking for the end of May, right?
Yeah, when do we want, when would the board actually be sitting down with David is I guess what?
Yeah, I don't know if I brought that with me. That original draft timeline has those dates on it.
Yeah.
I think I can probably find it.
Oops, found something. So,
And that's and remembering that the evaluation meeting itself does not have to be on a board
Thursday,
meeting.
yeah.
right, it doesn't have to be. I did talk with David yesterday, and I think he's leaning towards doing it in closed session. I will say that was my recommendation to him, my strong recommendation to him. But again, it is his prerogative to do that.
Yes.
So what we had said, going backwards, is that June 25th is the board meeting where a new contract, that's the last time for the new contract to be signed. The prior meeting is May 28th. My preference always, when we can, to be able to do business in a regularly scheduled meeting. If we can't make it work, then we can't make it work. But I don't personally like to come in for more meetings. So,
Yeah,
that was
except what you have to realize is that, I mean, if you want to do a valuable evaluation, I wouldn't say that's a 20-minute meeting.
yeah, and I don't know what else is on it. That's really has to be in consultation with Kathy.
Because we also have to look at May 28th is our deadline for approving our budget for, no, it isn't, excuse me, June is, because July 1st is the beginning. Yes.
Are you talking about a meeting to what? Review the results of the survey?
Right, we'll get the
Oh, we should do
No, I
that
think
way before that.
no, we're talking about the meeting with David, the actual evaluation meeting.
Okay.
we'll get the summary from the narrative summary from Marcel.
Yes.
After she has the results.
The
from
data.
Survey Monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that.
Okay, I guess I need to know what the steps are. So we send out first we send out the introductory letter, then we send out the evaluation. Then
Slow down.
Okay.
Send intro,
Yeah.
send
Eval.
Survey Monkey. Or
Yes.
the
The
eval.
evaluation survey.
Then you have 2 weeks.
2 weeks. And then you
And then,
compile
and so how long does she need to compile?
Yeah.
We need to,
Let's
so I
say-
would say we give her a week to
Yeah.
I
compile?
think that's what she said.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm gonna have to go
I
over
would
this
say.
with her and
Yeah.
make sure this all works. But I'm
Okay.
pretty sure it was within 1 week.
Okay.
Again, nobody is manually counting anything.
Okay, so then
Right.
she compiles it, gets it back to us, and what do we do then?
I do a quick look at it and talk with her. Do I see
Uh-huh.
anything that I have questions or
Uh-huh.
concerns about? I don't expect that, but it was, and I don't have to do that if this committee
No,
doesn't.
no, I want-
And then
rule
what?
it.
And then what?
And then we meet with the board and David.
Okay, so then that is the evaluation,
Right.
the actual evaluation.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know if there's not another step in there of
What would it be?
the board meeting.
What, where we tell everybody what the evaluation is?
No, not an open board meeting. It would be an executive session because you are discussing the performance of an employee. I don't know. I'm not
I
saying
don't think
there
we
is.
should. I don't think we should, because that's doing the evaluation twice then. Don't you think?
Okay.
Just once and done. What is your opinion?
Does the board get the results of the evaluation before they go into, I'm gonna call it deliberation. And deliberation can be the.
Now, that's a
meeting
big
with-
question.
Yeah.
Do we,
No, they don't. I'm thinking how we
Okay.
do it with city council.
they don't?
And here's what happens with city council, because that is a confidential document,
Mhm.
because it has to do with
That's right.
somebody's performance. We go into session, we are provided with that document. I'm trying to remember, did I get that document ahead of time? Because for some reason in my brain, I'm thinking I had time to review it and come up with my own comments, but I can't remember.
I'll say one thing I'm a little mixed up in as I'm
Mhm.
visualizing my executive sessions with Corvallis. I realized I was thinking about when we were meeting privately with the attorney, not that. And then we had documents passed out to us in closed session. We read them, they collected
Then
them.
you have to go back.
So that
Mhm.
we didn't, we weren't able to keep any
Mhm.
documents like that.
Right.
I don't remember whether we went through anything like that for the city manager's evaluation, which we did hold in
So
closed
you
session.
collected the information, the committee reviewed it, and then sent it back.
Mm-mm.
No,
Who reviewed it?
the committee, no,
No.
was not reviewed by the committee.
She's remembering something that she did with contracting,
Yeah.
with a lawyer.
Yeah,
not
I'm sorry.
a-
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay.
I added that and confused.
Okay.
Added
Right.
confusion. I wrote the summary in the ones that I'm remembering, and consulted with the head of HR.
So you're
That.
Marcel in
Yeah.
that, in
I
that
can,
role.
and
Put
I
us
can
together.
tell you that with the city of Seaside, our evaluations, for every single question, we get the number of responses and the number that are in each range
Mhm.
category, so
Mhm.
that we have all that. We get to see, it's a summary, but because it doesn't have people's names on it and stuff, but we get to see what the, I'm going to call it ratings are, and then what the average rating is. And you have to remember that David also evaluates himself, and that has to come through as part of it. And I know when I put this together for other boards, we have the board's evaluation and we have the self-evaluation, and there's a comparison, because if you see big gaps in how people perceive, that's where you really need to address some things.
Okay, so that's for the committee.
No,
It's
that's
not
not for
coming back
us.
to the committee.
That's not for us.
Oh, that's for Marcel?
No, that's for the actual evaluation.
With David.
Right.
So
Okay, so that's the evaluation.
it's not coming back to the committee.
No,
The only
it's not.
sort of
The
touch
results
on that
are.
was I was just going to look at it to make sure there weren't any big surprises.
Okay.
So as I'm hearing it, I see two options there. One is, the board could receive it in closed session alone with David asked in after we've had a
Time to
few
discuss.
minutes to discuss it, ask questions of Marcel perhaps, I don't know.
Okay.
And that, I need to ask, are we planning that Marcel will participate in the, I'm calling it the deliberation?
No, I don't think she should.
I don't know. She's
We
our
had
human
not
resources.
decided that.
Yeah,
We
she's
had
our
not
human
decided.
resources consultant.
Yeah. I think that was what we added at the end when
Yeah.
we added 2 hours,
Okay.
because that was a possibility, and so we wanted that there.
Right.
If we decided at the end of the process we wanted to include her in that.
Yeah, but she was just the mechanics of it.
No, she's not just the mechanics of it. She's an advisor to us.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, we can use her in those different ways.
To participate in the actual evaluation with
She
David.
might, rather than a participant, I would say her role might be as a facilitator.
Okay.
not as a participant saying, well,
David, you need to do this.
exactly,
Yeah,
not like
'cause I
that.
can't see
Not
that.
like
Yeah,
that
good.
at all.
Good.
Not a relationship at that discussion between her and David.
Okay.
No,
You know, if we have
A
questions about
facilitator.
what
I like
this
the word.
means, that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I would
think
see
that's-
her role
Okay.
to be more a facilitator.
Okay, so we're back to the point where she's compiled them all. So next step is.
Into a narrative.
Yes.
I'm not sure what that document will look like.
Right, right. But when it's done.
And then there's the chair will review it.
Mm-hmm. And then we do the evaluation.
Yeah, and I would put between
Okay.
the chair review and the deliberation, I would put some time just in case she reviews it and she needs to consult further with Marcel on,
Okay, but a week.
yeah.
I think that's included in that week, when she
Okay.
is getting the results.
Compiling them and-
compiling it.
Okay.
She's gonna chat with me about it, and then,
That's
then
all
it's
within a
going to
1
be
week.
given to somebody, to go to the board.
Great. And then it comes to the board a small bit of time before we then do the actual
The board
evaluation.
goes into executive session.
Okay, great.
The document is provided to the board,
Yeah.
and this is
We
again
familiar-
where a facilitator with Marcel
Yeah.
would be helpful, because then she kind of helps us.
Yeah.
Because, and that same meeting,
Then
the
we
board
call in-
and David have a discussion.
Perfect, perfect. Well, it looks like this is a month for that whole thing to happen. 30 days, 4 weeks can do that whole thing.
So, that's about what we have.
Yeah.
The board meeting on the 28th. That means that it has to go out. I can't add the 4 weeks. I
Oh.
mean, it's just my math.
Here,
is
let me
not-
look at my calendar.
Are we talking about the April board meeting? It's on the 30th.
May.
No, we're talking about May. Okay, so what we've got between now and then is today is the 17th. This would mean that next week,
Mm-hmm.
the preliminary letter goes out,
Right,
all right?
great.
And then
And the ball is rolling.
the week of the 27th,
Mhm.
the
Evaluation.
the tool itself
Goes
goes
out.
out.
Yes?
So she gets to, so let's say that the tool goes out on the 28th of April,
Yeah.
and it's out for 2 weeks.
Mhm.
That takes us to May the 12th. Okay?
Yeah,
And
you're
And
going
that's
to
a Tuesday, and that's a very nice day for it to happen. So then, let's say we have then another week for the finalization. That takes us to May the 19th.
5/19, good, that's when.
And when is the board meeting? May 28th.
Yes,
So there's a little wiggle room. in
So
there.
there's
Great.
wiggle room there. And so what will need to happen most likely is that because I don't like to have people feel pressured or pressed that we only have 20 minutes. And remember, we've got a 2-hour board meeting that day.
I
2
know.
or 3-hour board meeting. Okay, so I would say that the recommendation to Kathy is that you add an hour on at the end of the board meeting for the evaluation.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
perfect. Think we can do it in an hour? I mean, we're not gonna go, are we gonna go line item by line item? I mean, there aren't that many real, so we probably could, but.
I want to stop and ask Sam how, in the discussion we just had about process, next steps for now, does that make sense to you? Do you see?
Yes, actually it's very solid. I was following the dates. I totally agree with you, Commissioner Montero. 2-week survey. and then after that 1 week for analysis. It's a little bit tight. If the comments are messy and you need to like do a lot of work on that, and then the board meeting after that, if everything comes back well with the analysis, that should give you enough time between April 28th all the way to May 28th.
Yeah, and the other thing is, if the 19th, did we say the 19th was the deadline, or the 12th? May 12th is the deadline, and then there's a week for compilation.
Yep.
There's still, it gives us a little bit of wiggle room and slide and stuff in there if other things need to be looked at, adjusted, etc.
Commissioners, I just want to add one thing as a recommendation. If it's possible for the consultant to send reminders, if that's something.
Oh, yes, we did talk about that.
Please.
Yes.
People usually read it.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely. Now,
Good
here's-
reminder.
Yes, so here's the other thing, and that we haven't even talked about. David is going to get this.
Yes.
She needs to know which one is David's coming back.
I guess that's, yes.
She has to.
Yes.
Because,
So-
and if I was David, I'd want to make sure, because that's my self-evaluation.
Yeah, okay.
So she needs to send David's separately, and she probably knows all this.
Well, and
but-
she has talked to me about really as if this were 4 groups: staff, board, community members, and David's self-evaluation.
Right.
Those 4
Right.
groups.
Yeah, because another part of what I see as her facilitation is helping the board as we work with David's self-evaluation. It's not just our input. I mean, we need to, there's a comparative there. And, you know, if there's like way points across, we need to address that. Why do you see it that way and we see it this way? Because those are the points that can get us into trouble down the line.
And we're leaving this out because it's not directly part of this process, but it builds on this process, and that's the evaluation or the negotiation of the contract. And so that can address that we want some things by such and such a date or more details.
And this gives that time for anything to be put into the contract that is going to be a contractual requirement for the year. This also was something else that I was thinking about. The other thing is the goals, because we still need to look at the goals that come, the suggested goals that come out of the evaluation tools, comparing them to what we've looked at as our institutional and our strategic planning. Yeah. So this gives you that time to do those little bits of comparison.
So, and one thing that I'm writing down for myself, pull out all the list of to-dos with Marcel, is how she would see that meeting, how she would see facilitating that meeting, how that might go.
Right.
And I want to ask Sam again, when we get to this portion, do you have any thoughts about how that might look, should look, want to avoid?
I can tell you one thing about that, which is I think you already addressed that she has to facilitate that meeting only. And I'm not giving any legal advice, but we just need to be careful with that part in particular. So I agree with Commissioner Montero. She mentioned that she will be a facilitator more than anything else. That's the only thing I can encourage you to focus on.
And she's a process facilitator, not a negotiation facilitator.
That's exactly the point.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Do you see her being involved in when the board is initially introduced to the results before David is brought in?
What I would recommend is, yes, for sure, but also to make it easier for you if she can prepare a summary of everything rather than you guys wasting your time going through every single point.
She is.
And
That's what we're going to get
that's-
is a
Right,
summary.
right.
Yeah.
And so as a facilitators usually like manage the meeting, if you will, to make sure we stay on track.
Great.
We stay on time, we stay on subject, etc. So,
Cool.
So I have a lot to talk with her about. A couple things to talk with Kathy about.
so does that help? We've got our timeline,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's a good one.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
think it is.
great.
Yeah, I feel really good about that one extra week that's in there.
Yes, I do
If there
too.
is maybe we need more in the summary, or maybe we need a little less, or
Right.
something. Yeah, I don't, I'm gonna be careful to make sure I'm just looking at what would be useful for the board.
Exactly. Exactly.
What was the date that we said for the letter to go out, the first notice is like the 21st?
The letter would go out,
The 21st?
But
April 21st?
I think we said, I gave a week time on there.
From today?
Today is the 17th, so it'd go sometime next week. I would suggest
The
maybe like the
21st.
22nd.
Okay, so that's not quite a
22nd or
week.
the 23rd.
Okay, so that's not quite a week until the actual evaluation itself goes out.
Right.
The
Because
survey.
you don't want too much time between,
Right,
we're prepping you and
here it is.
here it is.
Yeah.
And when
Here
she
it
and I
is.
first talked about it, she said it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be longer. She recommended not having it be longer because people either
Oh, yeah, no.
complete it
Forget.
right away or never.
No, we don't want it
Um,
longer.
And having a reminder in there after a week is
Yeah.
a good one.
So it would be,
But so if it
So
was a
the-
couple of days under, if it wasn't 14 days, it was 12 days, my guess is she would say that's just fine.
probably what I would do is send it out the 22nd,
Okay,
and send the survey the 28th.
8th, yeah.
And then on the
Then we're on
5th,
schedule.
on the 5th, I would send reminder number 1. And on the 5th, I'd send reminder number 1. That's halfway through. For those who tend to procrastinate, I'd send reminder number 2 on the 11th.
That's the day before deadline.
I know,
Okay,
I know.
I'm gonna see too, I'm gonna talk to her
She'll-
about this, but I
she'll
wanna see
know.
what her,
recommendations.
what she does.
Good.
And then the 12th, it closes. And
Okay.
then, does it close end of business day? Yeah. However she wants it to close. And then can go from there. Yeah,
Okay.
I like that schedule.
So the agenda item that was on there, of the meeting date, we won't be meeting again. Because
I'll be
and shedding
available.
no tears about it.
No.
Until
Good deal.
after the evaluation is complete, and I think then I'll set a date. Do you feel like we need
For
to
a
set a date
debrief?
now? For a debrief?
After, oh yeah, I think our committee
Great.
deserves a debrief.
Yes.
I think so. I
But
think it's
my
important.
question is, do we want to schedule it shortly after, in which case we should schedule it now, or do we want to give ourselves some breathing time to think about it?
And I think it would be good to do our debrief with Marcel, because she can probably give us pointers too. It's basically sort of your consultant
What do you
talking,
think?
advising you after the fact.
That's possible.
Okay, we'll just see.
I think it might be the transition time into working with Sam on where we're going to go from there.
Mm-hmm.
So that tells me that let's wait until after the evaluation, till we set the date for that next meeting.
Great.
And figure
Great.
out how we want that to look.
Well,
I think that's good.
and actually including Sam, I would say both Marcel and Sam, because I think Marcel can provide Sam with information that he might not have been aware of.
And certainly Sam is welcome to reach out directly to Marcel and talk as well about process.
Good.
Not until
great.
after the evaluation.
Right. Okay, good deal. So that means I'm going to put on my calendar for May 28th that the SETD board meeting probably goes from 9 to, I'm going to say 2 just in case. Or we start at 8, which I don't like, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And that's a day where I think it would be advisable to provide lunch. I know I'm not for providing meals for everything, but when we ask for something like that, when we're working like that, I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, we need a break.
Beer?
No,
That was our last meeting.
no,
Talking about
that's mimosas in the parking lot.
It was another meeting.
That's for the library.
That was a fun meeting, but it never did get around to the mimosas.
Mimosas out of Tita's back, the back of Tita's car.
Sounds good, right?
Sounds good to me. I'll be there.
You know, I'm on the board of the foundation at Lynn Community College, and they have a culinary department, so we
Yeah.
do sometimes get to help sample.
Well, when Tita was the
At
community
Tongue Point.
liaison at Tongue Point, the culinary school was.
You do what you have to do.
Yeah.
To support the program.
You know, they need the experience, so you gotta find things to
That's
find
right.
that.
Those
Yeah.
were wonderful meals.
They
that
were, weren't they?
did.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
is there
Member comment.
member comments?
Good job.
I think we've hit all the nails on the head. I does not feel like we're missing anything. And I really like the way we've been moving forward expeditiously.
So you're not members, but I'll ask Sam and Sarah, do you have any comments?
From my end.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm just gonna say we're adjourned and not call for a.
Really, no comment?
No, I don't have any comments.
Okay.
We're adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Good job.
Yes.
Thank you. That's my comment. Thank you.
Yeah.